Welcome to Delmonte Foods, one of the largest producers of canned tomato products in the valley. Here at Hanford Plant 24, our goal is to produce the highest quality tomato products possible. We are successful because of the teamwork and cooperation of all our employees. Your constant support by working safely with quality in mind will help keep you free from injury and maintain our high quality standards. The information you receive today will familiarize you with the important safety policies and sanitation guidelines that Delmonte Foods has established for this location. There is more detail and additional important policies found in your employee handbook and other registration materials, including our policies on sexual harassment and other forms of prohibited behavior. Make sure that you read these documents completely so that you understand the policies and practices that help us maintain a safe and respectful working environment. Your efforts to stay alert and observe established rules will help ensure a safe and sanitary workplace. This is a very important part of your job, and we count on everyone to do their best. The success we see is why our plant stands tall as a proud member of the Delmonte Foods family. When you arrive at work each day, you're expected to wear clean work clothes and sturdy shoes with non-skid soles that cover the foot completely. It is very important to use extreme caution when walking up and down stairways or traveling anywhere in the plant. Wet surfaces are normal, and raw product does fall to the floor. These hazards could result in a slip and fall if you are not careful. So, if you see slip or trip hazards, tell your supervisor immediately. And always remember, running is never appropriate anywhere on company grounds. All Delmonte employees are eligible to be covered by our workers' compensation insurance. If you're injured on the job, you must report it to your supervisor and the first aid office immediately, even if it is a minor injury. Medical treatment is available at our first aid station on site, or you'll be sent to a local medical facility. You must notify the first aid office in order to obtain authorization for medical treatment for a job-related injury. Failure to do so may result in disciplinary action. Our first aid trained employees avoid direct contact with blood or other bodily fluid by wearing protective garments, including gloves. They do this to reduce the risk of infection from blood-borne diseases such as hepatitis B and AIDS. Although the risk is remote, you need to take similar precautions if you provide first aid to someone on or off the job. Our blood-borne pathogens program addresses the requirements for those individuals who may come in contact with blood or other bodily fluids. We need your help in preventing accidents, so if you see dangerous conditions or unsafe work habits, please report them to your supervisor immediately. And remember, never attempt to repair or clean dangerous equipment unless you are authorized to do so. For all employees, and especially new employees, it is important that you understand where to go in case of an emergency. Exits to the outside are clearly marked and have emergency lighting to help guide you should we lose power. Emergency routes and gathering locations are posted on or near our bulletin boards throughout the plant. Please be aware of these routes and ask your supervisor if you are unsure what to do in case of an emergency. Noise levels when we're in production require employees to use hearing protection. Earplugs are provided and must be continuously and correctly worn to be effective. This is a requirement in every department. Instructions on proper use and care of your earplugs can be found on the package. Remember to keep your earplugs clean, and if damaged, plugs should be discarded and replaced with new ones. Delmonte has a formal drug abuse policy. Drug or alcohol possession, distribution, or use on the job or on company time will not be tolerated and is grounds for immediate termination. We conduct pre-employment drug screens and drug and alcohol testing for cause. If you're taking a prescription medication that could affect your job performance and safety, be sure to inform your supervisor or the first aid office. Additionally, if you have concerns regarding employee drug use, please contact the personnel office. We need your help to keep our workplace safe and drug-free. Delmonte also follows a general no smoking policy in all enclosed buildings and wherever there is a no smoking sign posted. Smoking is only allowed in designated outside areas and never on forklifts. Delmonte has a formal chemical hazard communication program known as MSDS and general training for everyone. Material safety data information is found by calling the phone number shown and leaving the necessary information about the hazardous chemical you need to know more about. Within minutes, the information is faxed to you. There are also recommendations on protective wear and first aid procedures if you are exposed to a hazardous material. Some employees with jobs that have greater exposure will receive additional detailed training. Never use chemicals unless you have received training regarding proper handling, and never handle unknown solutions found in buckets or other unmarked containers. As our employee, you also need to be aware that Delmonte makes a major effort to reduce employee exposure to machinery hazards. We guard dangerous pinch points and post warnings in many areas that present a hazard. You can help avoid injury by staying aware of the dangerous areas, keeping your hands and all body parts clear of hazards and running equipment, and by never climbing on, reaching into, unjamming, repairing, or operating any piece of equipment unless you are trained and authorized to do so. As part of our effort to avoid machine-related injuries, we have an active lockout-tagout program. Specially trained employees who conduct maintenance or who clean up powered machinery protect themselves and all of you by locking and tagging out electrical control sources. This step is taken to prevent accidental startup of machinery by an employee unaware of work being conducted on that machinery. If you see a lock or tag on any control, you are to avoid all contact with those controls and seek help from your supervisor. Employees who fail to follow this procedure will be disciplined, including possible termination. If your job requires lifting, or if you must reach as part of your job, you need to remember these steps to avoid back and other strain injuries. First, get help. Do not try to lift something that is too heavy or awkward. Ask for help from a fellow employee, your supervisor, or let heavy equipment do the lifting. Bend your knees. This allows your legs, not your back, to handle most of the weight. Avoid twisting. Keep the object you are lifting in close to your body and move your feet to turn. If you twist without turning your feet, you place a lot of strain on your back. Some gentle stretching before starting work can greatly reduce muscle strains and is a great way to start your day. Forklift and truck traffic is another potential hazard everyone must watch out for throughout the facility. Our lift trucks and other drivers are trained to look out for fellow employees, but they must work fast and may not always see you. Whether carrying a load or not, the driver's view is always obstructed, so you should never assume that they can see you. If you need to talk to a driver, get their attention first before approaching. Remember to step away to avoid the rear-end swing as they drive off. In addition, always remember passengers on lift trucks are not allowed. Our forklift operators are required to be trained and tested in forklift safety regulations. Do not ever attempt to operate any vehicle unless you have been trained and authorized. Because you will be working with food for human consumption, personal hygiene is of the utmost importance. Regulations require employees who handle raw products to wear aprons, hair nets, gloves, and beard nets as needed. Now, these supplies will be issued to you, and it is your responsibility to keep track of them and make them last as long as possible. Our supplies, just like your home supplies, are very expensive, and reducing costs by reducing waste is a big part of our quality effort. Employees who wear rubber gloves or aprons are cautioned never to bring these articles into the restrooms. Remember, you are handling food for human consumption, so always wash your hands before and after you visit the restroom. You must also remember to have your gloves sanitized prior to returning to the production line. Now, this is very important in preventing contamination to the food that we process and to maintain our high quality standards.
When you are working at our production facility, the wearing of jewelry is prohibited. Now, this includes necklaces, rings, watches, and earrings. Wedding rings may be worn only if gloves cover them. Employees must also remove objects from their shirt pockets. For your information, a more detailed dress code is described in the Employee Handbook and in our Good Manufacturing Practices Policy, so be sure to read these documents. Visitors and parking are always difficult subjects, but we must all do our part to maintain a safe and secure workplace. Always remember that shift change is a very busy time. It can be very congested. Traffic coming into and exiting the parking lot, and there are often many cars parked on the street. Visibility can be poor. Remember, these pedestrians are your co-workers. Be courteous and cautious at all times when entering and leaving parking lots and driving down the main street in front of the plant. Also, please tell your family to call or go to the personnel office anytime they need to contact you about an emergency. If they must meet you, please remember that they are not allowed in the plant. We have safety committees that meet periodically through the year. To support these groups, individual shifts have safety teams when we are in production. Our safety committees and teams are a mixture of hourly and management employees dedicated to maintaining a safe workplace. Safety inspections of our plant are conducted on a regular basis, and safety recommendations are submitted for review by management. You will be involved in ongoing safety reminders, and we welcome your participation in our safety program. We're always looking for safety suggestions or individuals that would like to participate on a safety team or in some other safety activity. If you have a safety concern or suggestion, please feel free to contact your supervisor, a member of the safety committee, or come to the first aid or personnel office. Our management group gives all safety suggestions full consideration as part of their commitment to safety. Working safely requires following common sense safety rules and guidelines and wearing required personal protective equipment. Some jobs may require the use of gloves, eye protection, bump caps, rain gear, special shoes, or other protective equipment. Your supervisor will inform and instruct you on the type of protective equipment needed for your specific job and will cover basic safety instructions. It is your responsibility to always wear and care for the safety equipment provided to you. As you can see, safety and quality at Delmonte Foods has to be a team effort. If you're careful and take time to look for hazards, you can expect to have a safe work experience. Employees and management working together is a way we achieve success. When you follow our basic rules, wear required protective equipment, report hazards, and make suggestions, we can be confident we will have a safe and high-quality workplace. Our goal is to see you return home at the end of each day in the same good condition as when you started. That is why we at Delmonte Foods are committed to providing a safe and healthy workplace. In order to achieve this result, all employees will be held accountable for accident and injury prevention by following all safety and health regulations, house rules, and company policies, many of which are presented to you in this video. With this in mind, Delmonte has formulated an injury and illness prevention system designed to inform you about potential job hazards and protect you from them. This program outlines our company methods of hazard identification, hazard correction and prevention, safety training, communication, and compliance. All of our written safety programs, including this injury and illness prevention plan and the ones that follow, are located in the first aid office and are accessible to you. Confined space. The purpose of this program is to inform you of our procedures for evaluating and identifying confined spaces and to outline the correct procedure for authorized individuals to enter such spaces. A confined space is any area that restricts entry or exit or is not designated for continuous employee occupancy due to potential hazards. An example of a confined space in our plant would be a continuous cooker. All identified confined spaces in our facility are clearly marked with a sign. Do not enter any confined space unless you are trained and authorized to do so. Asbestos policy. It has been determined that our facility does contain some asbestos used as an insulating material in some of our pipes and ceilings. In your registration packet, you received a notice that outlines specifically the areas where asbestos is located and the program for its removal. These areas are also identified on postings. There is no known health risk or impact from exposure to the asbestos in its present condition at our facility, provided that it is left undisturbed. Areas containing asbestos are not to be disturbed in any way or by anyone who is not properly trained and certified. If you become aware of such an event, please contact your supervisor immediately. Fire prevention. This program is designed to establish procedures for fire prevention, but also prepare employees for emergency evacuation should a fire occur. Our plan includes regular inspections of sprinkler systems, fire extinguishers, and other related equipment. It also requires that our trained maintenance employees follow a hot work permit program when welding or using any type of flame in the plant. Plant evacuation procedures are communicated in safety tailgate meetings, and evacuation routes are prominently posted throughout the plant. Electrical safety. This program is intended to cover electrical safety-related work practices for employees working on, near, or with exposed, energized electrical parts. In this facility, the employees who are qualified to conduct such work are electricians, instrumentation technician, and other maintenance employees. Any other employees who are not trained and qualified are not permitted to work with live electrical parts. Lockout, tagout procedures will be utilized to protect individuals while this type of work is being performed. Ergonomics. Delmonte has implemented an ergonomics program at our plants in order to address the concern of musculoskeletal disorders. Under this program, we will evaluate jobs and develop solutions to reduce worker injury and illness due to continuous or repetition movements or awkward work postures. That concludes this overview of Delmonte's safety programs. All of these programs that have been discussed with you today exist for your health and safety. If you would like more information, have any questions, or wish to see the complete written versions of these programs, please see your supervisor or visit the personnel office. Thank you for your attention to these important programs and policies, and welcome to Delmonte Foods. Remember, safety and quality make Delmonte #1.